There are 3 Batman games for the NES, and let me show you all 3 of them. Let's start with the first one, which is Batman, and it was created by Sunsoft. It's actually a rather excellent game, in my personal opinion, even if it does assume that Batman is a sort of psychotic sociopath who doesn't actually particularly care about sort of anyone really, you know, all in because it means for his sense of justice. You have a choice of all these different weapons there. I've just hit that thing with a missile, and there's the shuriken things, and then there's the boomerang, which I can never use properly, and the enemies are kind of strange, really. I mean, there's a robot, there's a there's a man, and there's a man with a flamethrower who's kneeling down, and there's a guy in a jetpack, and check out this guy, this ninja guy. Look at that, just stands there and takes it. Brilliant. There's also different bosses that you can take on, which is again kind of cool. This is the first boss, which is sort of a guy with a jetpack. Brilliant. Also, Batman explodes whenever he gets killed, which is really, really bizarre. One thing I really, really like as well is the animations, which I just think are kind of a short little, sweet little thing there, you know, at the end of each level. That's cool. One really well-programmed element of the game is the platforming element, and especially the fact that you can sort of climb between different walls. I think that's a sort of Ninja Gaiden thing, but it works really, really well with this game, so it makes sense. Now, as a sequel, Batman Return of the Joker, again created by Sunsoft, and this one is again same similar style of gameplay, a better graphical update, and you know, more power-ups, things like that. So yeah, it does play really, really well, and I do enjoy the game, but I do have some minor gripes with it. One being something I should explain later on. This is the first level which I'm going through. As you can see, I'm beating the crap out of statues, which is, you know, awesome. You've got the rather excellent plane section, or is it blimp? I don't know what it is. Now, the boss fights are kind of a little bit different. You get a certain amount of power, and he gets a certain amount of power, and obviously you have to take those thousands and thousands of power that he has right down to naught in order to win. There you go, stage clear. I'm that damn good. And here's the second section, the second stage, as it were. And again, here we can see the graphical updates. Here's where if you collect enough orbs, you can have sort of superpowers. You kind of, well, I don't really do. You're just firing extremely fast. One thing I really, really like about the game is variety. I think there's a real sort of different section. There's lots of little different things to do, and each one requires you to do something different each time, which I really, really like. I mean, this is the ice section, and this is where I start to dislike the game, because I find this to be excruciatingly difficult and also very, very annoying, especially when the fact that when you hit power-ups, it changes the power-up, but it doesn't actually hit the enemy, so that's completely pointless and very, very frustrating. Now here's the second boss, and as you can see, he basically kicking my ass. Now overall, I do like Batman Return of the Joker. I've got little gripes about it, but I think it is a rather good sequel. Now there is Batman 3, which is based on the Batman Returns movie. Now, as you can see from this intro, which I've sped up basically because it takes so long, a load of clowns basically crash a Gotham City festive party, and therefore Batman is called upon to help out, being the nice guy that he is. Now, as you can see, it's a side-scrolling beat-em-up, sort of very much like Double Dragon and things like that, and it has the same type of gameplay. I mean, enemies come along, you kick their asses, and then you move across the screen. There's no real it's very simple to pick up and play, and it is quite enjoyable, but the only thing I feel that it suffers from is monotony, really. It's you know, it's the same all the way through, and it does get quite boring after a while. There's no real change you know, in gameplay or style or anything like that. You just go through doing the same things, and all the levels are kind of designed the same. It's not that it's bad, but it's just after a while it can get quite sort of dull, and I don't enjoy it as much. There is different bosses basically at the end of each sort of stage, and these are quite enjoyable. I mean, here I'm fighting against a fat man. I don't know what his relation is to Batman or the actual Batman Returns movie, but anyway. And at times there is actually changes in style here. You have to use a sort of grappling weapon in order to go up. It's kind of a slight variation in the gameplay, so that's quite a nice touch. These skeleton things on bikes are just the most annoying enemy in the world. You have to sort of jump and hit them in the right position at the right time, and it's so frustrating. I can't explain how frustrating it is. Now, as you expect, the final boss is obviously Penguin, and yeah, it's really difficult. He's got 5 layers, so basically he takes forever to do, and all he seems to do really is shoot you with his umbrella, obviously, and he cracks bombs on you as well, which is quite sort of surreal. But anyways, look at him go, cropping those bombs. If you're good enough to complete the game, you get this message. This is basically if you took too much time, and it's like, you know what, screw you, I beat the game, I defeated Penguin, therefore I win. I don't need all this, you know, you should have got there quicker, or you did it on the wrong difficulty, or anything like that. That's absolute rubbish. Of all 3 of the Batman games, I'd have to say the first one is definitely the most playable and probably the best one, but the other 2 are definitely worth checking out. They're certainly enjoyable to play for, you know, a couple of hours or so. Check them out.